Boy, boy, boy. All right, beautiful people, my brothers and sisters, beautiful patriots around the world. We have some more breaking news, huge updates with the Secret Service failure. And we're going to call it for what it is, man. And again, we want to send our love and prayers out to the ones that were affected. Our love and condolences out to the family who lost a loved one, who lost a father, man. You know. But July 13, 2024 was also a historic moment. It will live for centuries and centuries and centuries. It's going to be in your kids' history book. But people need to be held accountable. Huge investigation. And she should just, I'm just being honest, she should just, I'm right with y'all. She should just resign and go back to cracking open Pepsis. Cracking open a cold Pepsi, a room temperature Pepsi, a flat Pepsi, a hot Pepsi, whatever kind of Pepsi it is, go back to cracking open Pepsis, ma'am. Unbelievable. And I agree with you guys, man. Does not look good. This kid did not act alone. It does not look good at all, man. And all the things that are hitting the fan right now, boy, it's more news. I kid you not, it's more things dropping. It's like every 30 minutes, if we're being honest. Every 30 minutes, you guys. So let's go and jump in. Y'all, please be respectful and kind in the comments. Call it for what it is. No sugarcoating it, but just, you know, be respectful. I know we get kind of rowdy, and a lot of people are still upset about what took place on July 13, 2024. People are still shooken up, man, as well as myself. And you know, we got to continue to fight, man. We got to continue to fight, stand our ground, and we know right now we're getting win after win after win. And you know, we say landslide, but we can't get complacent, man. I agree with you guys. I know I've said landslide these last probably 300 videos, but it's coming, man, and they know what's coming, you know. And they are panicking, shaking in their shoes, man. But this should have never happened. Simple as that. It should have never taken place. And the fact that they had over 20 minutes to get something, to have something done, and then allowed them for a shot to be, makes me mad thinking about it, man. They allowed a shot to be fired, man. The fact that you had people as well telling you. I mean, it does not look good at all, y'all. But let's jump into the update. I know me yapping and yapping and yapping away. Let me go and jump into it.
Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Alright guys, so the video title and the thumbnail pretty much says it all. We got a lot more details dropping surrounding the shooting, this attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, and yup, pretty much as expected, the more information that drops, the worse it looks for Alejandro Mayorkas and his incompetent DEI hire, Kim Cheadle. Obviously, today is no different. Once again, I am calling on Kim Cheadle to resign from her position. Let me show you guys all the new video footage, and of course, more importantly, exactly what it tells us. I got some crazy updates to share with you guys. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right.
And shout out to you guys in the comments, to my beautiful family members on the channel, man. Y'all keeping it real. Like we did in yesterday's video. They say RFK is better, is way more protected than having the Secret Service. And it's sad that you got to say comments like that. You know, and how they did RFK. Telling you, man. But again, she should resign and go crack open a Pepsi.
folks, so as per usual, we're getting that slow drip of information, and more importantly, we're getting that slow drip of video footage. It always works this way. A big event happens, and then slowly over the next couple of weeks, more and more cell phone camera footage will start to drop. Here's the latest exclusive drop from DC Drano. New exclusive video shows the shooter walking around by himself, looking up at rooftops near Trump, and the question that DC Drano is asking is how was he not detained, especially after getting caught with a rangefinder. Take a look.
Tonight, we're learning that the gunman was on law enforcement's radar for 3 hours, and the Secret Service designated Crooks a threat 10 minutes before Trump took the stage. Crooks first aroused suspicion at around 3 on Saturday when security saw him with a rangefinder passing through the metal detectors. Police say they had an eye on him until he disappeared. Crooks was later spotted for a second time, this time by a sniper looking up at the roof, observing the building that he scaled and shot from. This was radioed into the command center. At one point, a sniper saw Crooks sit down and start scrolling through his phone. And investigators believe he may have actually had 2 phones. More on that later. This is when Crooks looked so suspicious that a local sniper team took this picture of him an hour before he opened fire. All of this information was being sent to the Secret Service command team at the rally.
We're gonna revert right back to that same word. Again, unbelievable. The perp was caught on footage canvassing the area, just casually walking around, not in the general rally-goer confines, but sneaking around the back buildings and scoping the area, doing what seems to be a reconnaissance survey. And again, the question I think everybody's asking themselves when they see this kind of footage is how? How was this guy allowed to roam around like that? It makes no frickin' sense, especially considering this footage was taken 1 hour before Trump was shot at, meaning this guy was walking around for an hour, possibly even longer, and not a single person intervened. And
this is ridiculous. I mean, boy. And I told y'all, man, just be ready. Watch everything that hits the fan. Just watch. Secret Service failure, man.
It's even worse when you consider the fact that he was spotted on the roof, he was spotted snooping around, and he was even spotted with a rangefinder at one point, calculating the exact distance from the rooftop to where Trump was standing on the stage at the podium. I mean, just think about it, put it into perspective. The Secret Service and police department had one frickin' job: to stop, apprehend, and interrogate anybody suspicious, and especially anybody traveling outside the general areas doing some highly suspicious weird stuff. They had that frickin' job, and instead they just watched the kid, didn't secure the perimeter at all, just willy-nilly, nonchalant, not a care in the world. It simply doesn't make sense. In fact, a lot of this stuff doesn't make sense. We've got some more information to get into. Previously, I showed you guys this picture right over here. I made mention of these little connecting structures between the 2 buildings, and how the perpetrator scaled up a ladder at one of those spots, gaining access to the roof initially. The photos that were circulating were relatively low resolution, and what was being reported was that those ladders were essentially already there, they were affixed. Well, now we've got an update, and again, it's totally unbelievable. Apparently, the perpetrator brought that ladder and placed it there. Just bear with me for a second. So, supposedly, this was the ladder that he picked up at Home Depot, a 10-foot step ladder. The current report is that the perpetrator took his van to Home Depot. This right here is the perpetrator's van, by the way, that was recently seized by the FBI. So he took this van, drove to Home Depot, bought this 10-foot step ladder, and then again, bear with me, he then carried said ladder from Home Depot all the way to Butler Farm Show Incorporated, walking all the way through the forest more than a mile in distance, carrying a massive ladder, an AR-15, and a bunch of ammunition. My mind is completely blown. Essentially, you had a 20-year-old kid carrying a rifle and a giant ladder, and he was simply allowed to walk in, set up his gear, scan the perimeter, gain access to the top of the building. He was spotted multiple times, and he was able to do all of this without a care in the world. Can somebody please explain?
A 20-year-old, man. A 20-year-old. You know? I'm 24. I'm 24. Secret Service allowed a 20-year-old. I agree with y'all, man. Kid didn't act alone, man. Kid didn't act alone. Inside job. Inside job. Oh man, boy, this does not look good, man. Got his own ladder? Are you kidding me?
Explain how that makes sense. How could a 20-year-old kid pull this off? One exhausted 20-year-old kid who supposedly walked over a mile with a giant freaking metal ladder. How on God's green earth did he manage to pull this off with the amount of law enforcement and Secret Service agents present during that day? Who made the calls here? We need answers to everything. James Comer recently subpoenaed Kim Cheadle, so that's of course a good thing, because we need thorough explanations and quick. We need to know exactly who made the calls. Who made the call to have all of these police officers and all of these Secret Service agents positioned on the complete other side of the perimeter when the clear and most obvious high priority threat was that factory building on Trump's right side? You know, again, the question that I keep asking myself is, why was that part of the venue not secured? Why was that building not completely surrounded by law enforcement and Secret Service agents? Take a look at this clip.
Hit it like you mean it.
Why were so many police officers on the opposite side of the fence and didn't even have access to the building? They had to bring a pickup truck to ram down the fence in order to gain access to the building side of the property. Who made the decision for the security perimeter and personnel layout? We need answers, because very simply, what we are seeing is unacceptable and of course totally unbelievable. It's either gross incompetence or malice and conspiracy. Kim Cheadle, Alejandro Mayorkas, Joe Biden, and of course the mainstream media at large, they don't want you asking any questions. Never question the official narrative. But having been exposed to everything we've seen over the last couple of days, how is it possible not to question everything? When absolutely nothing makes sense, when 2 + 2 is 5, you're left with no other choice but to question the official narrative. That's the rational
2 + 2 is 5. They don't qualify. Didn't earn it. DEI.
thing to do right now. We're looking at a Swiss cheese story. There's all kinds of holes everywhere. The government...
Why are we paying taxes?
Better come in and patch up every single hole with very logical explanations, or we're going to continue to see a steady erosion in trust in the legal system. You know, if they come out and say that 5-degree angled sloped roofs are too dangerous for Secret Service agents to climb, that's not a legitimate or acceptable explanation. If they tell us that what happened was they implemented the Pac-Man perimeter strategy tactic, you know, where you secure a perimeter in the shape of a Pac-Man, this little pizza-shaped cutout for the mouth right over here, placed perfectly right at the factory building. If they come out and tell us that that's the newest and latest and next-gen Secret Service presidential protection strategy, you know, again, no one's gonna buy it. They need a legitimate explanation, and frankly, we need to know exactly who made these calls, who made the personnel positioning decisions. There better be a good explanation for every single little thing that happened that day. But honestly, I don't think they're gonna be able to do it, because how can you possibly justify or explain any of this? A 20-year-old walking around with a bulletproof vest, a rangefinder, a giant freaking ladder, multiple fully loaded magazines. Supposedly, he had over 100 rounds on him. How could they have let him through, and how did they spot him so early, and yet they took no action? But rather, the current report is that they spotted him acting suspiciously with a rangefinder and said, well, we need to keep an eye on this guy. Keep an eye on him. The moment they were suspicious, they should have detained him. They should have secured the area. How do you explain this level of incompetence? I simply don't know, but I guess we'll have to see. So far, the whole sloped roof argument isn't freaking cutting it. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got.
Resign and go crack open a Pepsi. It's ridiculous, man. We're gonna keep bringing you guys updates on what's going on, just as promised. But let me know what y'all think of this, man. Comment down below. I can see the comments right now, man. But I know a lot of y'all are hot, man. I know y'all are hot. But hey, I love you guys. I'm wishing the best in all you guys' life, man. Remember to spread that love to one another. Time to come together around these times, man. We're living in the darkest, most craziest, and the biggest history yet. You and I are living in it. We're living in it right now as we speak. But hey, love y'all. God bless you all and your families. I will catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace and love, y'all.